Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
LinkedIn is pretty amazing at helping you grow your small business. We cannot stop your new clients from emailing you at 3 a.m. We can help you sell, market, and hire in one place. We cannot help you be in 3 places at once. And while we can't help you organize your calendar, LinkedIn can help you land more clients so you have a calendar to organize. Grow your small business on LinkedIn. Learn more at linkedin.com/smallbusiness.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
Live from the basement of the YouTube headquarters, it's the Stacking Benjamin Show. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug, and between forest fires and hurricanes and Joe's mom nagging about taking the garbage out, it feels like there's an emergency every minute. So here's the question. What should be in your financial go bag? We'll ask our roundtable on today's show. But wait, there's more. At the halfway point, we'll all revel in the brilliance of my trivia question for this week's edition of our year-long trivia competition. And now, a guy who loves long walks on the beach and low interest rates on his mortgage, it's Joe Saul-Sehy.
Who doesn't love both of those things? Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Stacking Benjamin Show. I am Joe Saul-Sehy. Thanks a ton, Doug. We've got a brilliant team ready to talk about this brilliant topic today. You know why I know it's brilliant, OG? You want to know why it's brilliant?
I don't even know what topic it is, so I'm sure it's great.
Of course you know. I haven't done any of my homework. Don't know what it is.
I'm doing it right now as we speak.
It is brilliant because a brilliant person picked it. That's why. Financial go bag today. Speaking of brilliant, Paula Pant from Afford Anything is here. How are you?
Thank you, Joe. I'm doing great, and I love the topic. I once literally did have a go bag. Never needed to use it, but it's nice to know you got a little thing.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up, that you didn't have to use it, because I don't know anybody sitting around people would always say this when we talk about long-term care insurance. So, you probably had this before too, or disability coverage. They're like, so how much is long-term care insurance? And of course, you tell them what the basic premiums kind of run, and they go, but what if I never use it? I'm like, wait a minute, are you sitting around, man, I hope I get to go into a nursing home someday. Like, it would be awesome. If I have a catastrophic illness, this would be great. So thank goodness you didn't have to use your financial go bag, because that means bad things happen in Paula Pant's life.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing about in any type of insurance is the thing that you buy that you hope you never have to use. Right.
I hope I flush my cash down the toilet.
Yeah. And that's health insurance, homeowners insurance, car insurance. You hope to never have to use any of it.
Absolutely. And a guy who has a podcast with a brand new name, Jesse Cramer's back. How are you, my friend?
What's that Western, like The Man with No Name? Isn't that a thing? Isn't that like a famous Western, some cowboy movie about the guy with no name? I've got the podcast with a new name.
Yes. And the new name is, drum roll again for people that missed it last week.
The blog is still called The Best Interest. And the podcast, though, is now called Personal Finance for Long-Term Investors.
Personal finance for all that SEO wrapped up in one name.
Oh, my gosh. So much SEO.
It's incredible.
Have
you seen the big bump? The big bump?
Not yet.
No?
Maybe someday. I don't know. I don't know how quick Google's turnaround time is, but that's okay.
Do you have a financial go bag, Jesse?
Not quite, actually. Reading or doing some of the prep for today's conversation was useful. My wife and I, are we on the same page when it comes to our financial go bag?
Oh,
probably not. I would say that ours needs some work.
That's good. If you're in a relationship, there's another layer. Maybe another meeting with pancakes or wine where you talk about your financial. What could be more romantic, though, Jesse, than pancakes or wine and your financial go bag. Well, we got Paula here, we got Jesse here, we got OG here, and we are diving into what should be in your little emergency go bag. But before we get to that, we have got a couple of sponsors to make sure this is free so we can keep on keeping on, and you don't have to pay for any of this goodness every Friday and Monday, Wednesday. So let's hear from them, and then it's financial go bag time. You may not know that when we started Stacking Benjamins, it was a blog, and even then, just the startup cost, I remember thinking, is this the right thing? And what if I write things and nobody comes, right? Well, luckily, that didn't end up happening. But starting something new isn't just hard. It's terrifying. There's so much work. You're not sure whether it's going to work out. You're not sure if anybody's going to read it. And then we change it to a podcast. Is anybody actually going to listen, right? What if nobody wants all the stuff that we have? Well, had I used Shopify, it would have been even easier, because with their expertise, their helpful tools, and their easy to use platform, that's something that would have made Stacking Benjamins more effective much, much more quickly. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. Names you've heard of like Heinz and Mattel, Shopify, Gymshark, Aviator Nation, Allbirds, also all Shopify. Get started with your own design studio with hundreds of ready-to-use templates. Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store that matches your brand style. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond. And did I mention that iconic purple Shop Pay button? It's used by millions of businesses around the world. It's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. It also helps boost conversions, meaning less carts going abandoned and more sales for you. So you're stacking Benjamins much more quickly. Time to turn those what ifs into with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/SB. Go to shopify.com/SB. That's shopify.com/SB. Dell PCs with Intel Inside are built for the moments you plan and the ones you don't. They're for those all-night study sessions, the moment you're working from a cafe and realize every outlet's taken, the times you're deep in your flow and can't be interrupted by an auto update. That's why Dell builds tech that adapts to you. Built with long-lasting batteries so you're not scrambling for an outlet, and built-in intelligence that makes updates around your schedule, not in the middle of it. Find technology built for the way you work at Dell.com/Dell PCs. Built for you. The inspiration for today's piece comes to us. Well, the inspiration for this today's episode comes from this piece. If only I knew the English language better, I would have said that correctly.
Making lemons out of lemonade again, Joe.
I did say that on Wednesday, Paula. We were making lemons out of lemonade. Like what? Huh? Not sure how that works.
Making melons out of melonade.
Andrea Requier writes us at USA Today. What's a financial go bag? Everything you need for your money when disaster strikes. You know what? We'll fill in Andrea's picks later on. But OG, let's start with you. The very first thing that goes in this financial, man, we're having an emergency. What goes in the bag first if you're in the OG family?
Just for clarification purposes, do we mean a literal financial go bag? Like, are we taking it in the context of there's literally an emergency, like the folks in LA, my house is going to burn down in an hour. I need to go right now. And this is the money stuff that I have to deal with.
I'm glad that you said that, OG. Let's define that not just for you, but for all of our stackers, because maybe they've got the same question. She begins by saying the wildfires devastating parts of Southern California, those were a grim reminder. You should have a go bag at ready with everything you need to survive a few days outside your home.
Okay. So in context with the go bag, it's what part of that kit is money related is your question.
That's right.
We keep a fair amount of cash at home. So I would say cash. I mean, I've kind of got two right away that I want to take. Well,
let's just do one. We'll come back to you.
I want to do two. I've got a whole bunch, actually. But yeah, the easy one is cash. You know, a monetary something. I want, my wallet. I got to take my cash. I got credit cards. I'm not taking them all. I just got what I got in my wallet. That'll be good enough.
Well, and assuming, Jesse, that you agree with OG, But how much cash do you think is the amount to keep ready? Because, all that cash sitting there earning absolutely nothing until that emergency hits, just sitting there.
Well, the way you framed that question, Joe, I think most of our stackers should probably accept that there's always going to be some sort of cash that is sitting there not optimized. I mean, the whole purpose of having an emergency fund, that cash is not going to be optimally invested for the long run. The odds are you're never going to really touch that emergency fund or really tap into it. You're going to be losing ground. In hindsight, you're going to have recognized that you lost ground. But it goes back to what Paula said earlier, which is like a lot of these things, we pay all these insurance premiums hoping that it's wasted money. That's the point. This cash that's sitting there in your go bag is going to be the same exact way. But okay, so how much cash would I assume there in the go bag? I don't know. 3 or 4 days worth, a week's worth, because enough to get me to the other side when I can tap back into my bank accounts to when I make sure that I have a credit card that can cover my expenses, something like that.
Jesse's like, what's a big can of Colt 45 cost?
About that much.
Because that's
that about $3.50?
Couple tall boys and
that's what
Dr. Pepper.
Go back. What if the liquor store is not accepting my credit card? I got to make sure I get that, right? For you and the baby, right?
Stackers Anonymous.
Honestly, when it comes to something like that, I mean, if there's some sort of major catastrophe that you're getting out of the way, right? You're getting out of town. There's some, what was that movie, 2012 or something, where there was like the big earthquake and John Cusack's driving the limo and trying to escape.
Oh, I forgot about that movie.
Yeah, that was so great. I mean, it was critically acclaimed. How could you not?
Right.
How could that not be top of mind?
I remember seeing that movie OG and just thinking that was the biggest waste of 2 hours.
Wow, that was a waste of 2 hours. Yeah. It's Armageddon. There's an asteroid. I'm thinking like you're going. You're not hanging around the next town over going, I wonder what's going to happen. I'm going. You just got to get far enough out of the blast radius, right? Like before your credit cards start working again. So you need cash to fill up the car. You need cash to buy food, even if you have to round up, right? I can't get in the cash register. I can't. It's like, cool, here's 100. Like, are we good with, I'm going to fill up the car and I'm going to take some snacks and I'm going to give you $100 bill and off we go. The great thing about our country is you just need to drive a half a day and you're still in the same economy, right? You're still same money, same system, same language, all that stuff. So it doesn't have to be a ton, but I remember watching a YouTube video of a guy said anywhere in the world, $100 US will get you just about anything you need. In the US, $200 US will get you just about anything you need. Like if you could slide somebody $100 and you're in wherever in the world and you need something, $100 US might get it done. And inside of the US, you're trying to get a guy to take you somewhere. The Uber's like, look here, I got a couple $100. Can you get me to the other side of town? Like, like I need to get out of here.
But let's talk about, because there's some people, doomsday hits, right? We've had guests on. Oh, gee, you've said this before that gold, not really a part of your portfolio, but we've also said over and over that gold is a store of value. If something happens where the currency is going bye-bye. Paula, would you keep any gold in or precious metals in your financial go bag?
Absolutely not. No way.
Heavy.
Honestly, the most important thing, because we live in such a digital age, I think the most important thing is to make sure that you have your master password, the one that unlocks your password manager. Make sure that you have that either in your brain or on some secure piece of paper. And have the device that you use for two-factor authentication.
What if something's happened to the grid?
Yeah, that's what the cache is for. If something's happened to the grid, then you need cache, and frankly, you need some form of physical protection, because those are the two things that are going to, yeah, exactly.
You can take me anywhere you need, Paula.
People not watching the video have no idea that OG just gave us the guns. So that's all he needs.
Meaning the biceps.
Come and get them.
Meaning the biceps, yeah.
Yes.
They might not even know what guns we're talking about.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so you need some form of physical protection, and then you need some cash. And so if the digital or electronic system is down, those are the two things that will get you through to the next day. Beyond that, you need two-factor authentication so you can get into all of your accounts digitally.
So we've got Paula's answer. We've got OG's answer for two of the first things. Jesse, what goes into your go bag immediately?
Passport, driver's license, social security card, or copies of all those things, identification, would be probably something at the top of my list for a go bag. And just in general, hearing Paula's and OG's answers, or just hearing the framing of your question, Joe, I don't know. I think there are some emergencies. Like, okay, if there's an emergency where the electrical grid is down and my credit cards don't work
again,
and two-factor doesn't matter because I can't log into anything, that's a particular type of emergency where, boy, it's pretty hard to fathom how bad that is. Does that make sense?
Sure.
As opposed to, say, yes, the wildfires were terrible. People who lost houses were terrible. But like, there is a future for them. And also, it was like a localized scenario. It's a scenario they had to physically remove themselves from. But I'm just saying, like, if we're talking about, OG's talking about blast radii, if we're talking about escaping from the asteroid and then the entire electrical grid is down, okay.
Or
like,
the zombies.
right.
Don't forget the zombies.
Right. Like, we're in a little bit of a worse place, I think.
War of the Worlds,
pretty bad.
another great movie. Brad Pitt.
Right. Brad Pitt's knocking on my door, telling me I need to take the antivirus. Is a pistol going to save me?
Should you take an antivirus if Brad Pitt's the one telling you to do it at your door?
I think there's some worse celebrity endorsers of vaccines in this world, OG. Just say it.
I mean, but like he's literally at your door. I'd be like, oh boy, where are we? Yeah.
True story. Paula's number 2 thing in her go bag behind the password manager was Brad Pitt. That Brad Pitt in your financial go bag, right, Paula?
Absolutely. In fact, I carry a Brad Pitt bobblehead with me at all times.
Wherever you go.
Also one for Bradley Cooper.
Just to give you affirmation.
Yeah. Either in a pinch, if you get tired of Cooper, then just go with Pitt. Right. It's funny, Jesse, because I'd never thought about all those photocopies, but Andrea has this in her list on USA Today as well. For things you usually keep in your wallet, like a driver's license, make a photocopy for your go bag. Is there a situation, by the way, that if you lose your credit card, that any of these institutions would take a photocopy of a credit card? I don't think so. You'd have to have the actual card, wouldn't you?
I mean, Apple Pay.
I can buy stuff on Amazon without having my actual card with me. I don't know.
Good point.
Yeah.
That is a good point.
If I go to the grocery store right now and I just plug in my credit card number and the CVV, and I think they would accept it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Not sure, though.
If you know it all, can you rattle off all
correct
19 of those digits?
But you don't need a photocopy. You just need a password manager. I mean, what is a photocopy? It is a piece of paper with information on it.
No, I understand.
You mean I could do that online?
Yeah.
A password manager. I mean, some of these scenarios, though, it's like, are you going to log into your password manager with the grid down and electricity not working? And
but the copy of your driver's license, which is an official document, or your passport. Like when we travel internationally, we always have a copy of our passport.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense because if the grid is down, then credit card processing would also be down.
Right.
So if the grid is down and you can't access a password manager, then you also wouldn't be able to use a credit card. So that part I don't quite get. But yeah, in terms of having ID, that's just what you need in order to get through borders.
Oh, gee, what else would be in your financial go bag?
Yeah, I think a little less catastrophic, kind of off the zombies and back to maybe we
reality.
Just have to, whatever. I want to take our health insurance information. Maybe that's a card or maybe it's, stored electronically or whatever. And any health records that you can have electronically. Again, you're not going to take your whole big file folder with you, back to Paula's thing, but have access to that. I think a lot of people don't know that you can have all these records, right? Your doctor has all these notes on you and all this other sort of stuff and just kind of broadness of health stuff, but like your prescriptions and your, like your things that you need, especially if it's, life or death type of things. I want to have official documentation so that when I show up in the next town, I can go to the hospital or whatever and go here. I don't have to go through all the process of do you really need this high blood pressure medicine? Yeah, dude. Also, I just escaped. So now I definitely need it because it's even higher.
Blood pressure is even higher now.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one less thing to have to start over from if you're literally starting over somewhere else and all your stuff's gone. Just a digital copy of that sort of stuff.
And if you keep asking me, my blood pressure is going to get even higher.
Yes.
Paula, what's another one that you need?
Honestly, my go bag is going to be pretty simple. It's cash, it's two-factor authentication, which is phone. I'd have my laptop with me and all of the various chargers. Although, if there is no electricity, that presents a problem. I would have, in the event that there is no potable drinking water, I would have one of those UV sticks that can clear Giardia and other types of bacteria out of water so that you can take stream water and make it drinkable. But that's not a financial go bag. That's just
part of your overall go bag.
Yeah, that's an overall go bag thing. Same with grapefruit seed extract. You can put some of that in water, and that makes it a little bit more drinkable when you suspect that you're drinking contaminated water. I mean, those would be the main things.
We took what looks like just a regular water bottle, but it's called a Gravis, where it will filter your drinking water, just like, Paula, what you're talking about. But so I can use it just as a regular water bottle, or I can pull out the filter system, pour water in the bottom, and then slowly squeeze it through the filter. And it was amazing. Even trying this out, we went hiking up near Hot Springs, just a couple hours from our house. And I'm putting this thing in this stream in Hot Springs. And even when I'm in the middle of the United States, I was still really creeped out. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to drink this. And then, I let the requisite time, like 10 minutes go by, and I take my first drink, and it was awesome. And then we used it in Nepal when we were hiking, and use it
nice.
Fairly often when we just go, to a place and we want to carry water. I can now get water from wherever I want. That was well worth the price.
Yeah.
Jesse, what else is in your bag?
Well, I guess I'll answer your question first, and then I'll go back to expound on some other ideas. How about estate planning documents? I don't know. Is that really a financial go bag? Is that an emergency thing? I'm not exactly sure. But, will, power of attorney, healthcare proxy, or having copies of those could be potentially useful in some sort of go bag type scenario where someone, either me or someone in my family, might, kick the bucket, as it were. You might want to have some estate planning documents. But again, all these answers, I think, beg an important question that all of us need to answer for ourselves out there, which is like, which threshold of emergency are we just going to shrug our shoulders and be like, you know what? I had a good run. I couldn't prepare for everything. And this one, we all got to die somehow. You know what I mean? Like, as an example, thinking back to all the answers today that have to do with like digital reclamation of files, or like a backup credit card, or two-factor authentication, or I'm going to take my cell phone with me. If we reach a scenario where the electrical grid is just down forever, which, by the way, if you're unfamiliar with some of the coronal mass ejections that our sun gives off, it's like, just Google, listeners. It's the Barrington event, the Warrington event. Thanks. I'll come back with it.
If you need something to worry about.
Correct. I know. All I'm saying, if you need
which
something
I'm sure we all need. I wake up every day, Jesse, and I go, you know what? I don't have enough to worry about.
There's an asteroid coming the day after my birthday in 2031 or something.
I know. I get it. I'm the bearer of bad news here. But all I'm saying is that there are some events out there. There are many events out there that I am simply not prepared for. And if those events happen, I'm going to be screwed.
Jesse's like, I've had a good run.
Do I have a bunker in my backyard that's 40 feet deep with a year's worth of food, just in case my family and I need to, wait it out? No, I'm not prepared for that. And that's going to be one of those events that just gets me. And I think it is actually worth thinking about, if you're putting your go bag together, figuring out which kind of events you're just going to shrug your shoulders at and say, whatever.
Where does it end?
Let go and let God.
Yeah. I had one of those incidents a couple of weeks ago. 1.5 miles from my house is Andy's Ice Cream, and it was unexpectedly closed. And I'm like, well, it was a good run. It was, I guess I'm done. I didn't have that in my repertoire. What to do if Andy's closes? Andy's, if you want to sponsor the show, I'd be so happy if Andy sponsored the show. And I would have so many problems with my sugar levels. It would be just absolutely rotten. Anybody have any other ones that you're thinking of that go in the go bag? Paula seems like it's pretty clean. Jesse's decided that he's going to be the first person to die in this movie.
Exactly.
OG, anything else going in yours?
I mean, somebody had this on the live chat, but this was one of the ones that I was going to go with too, is a solar charger. Like, there's battery chargers now. I just bought 2 of them because I do the stuff for the kids' baseball video and, whatever. And it dawned on me that most of the games are mostly at night. So I don't know that the solar charger thing was really worth it, but it's just a regular, rechargeable battery pack that I can plug the camera into, and the whole top of it is solar regenerated, I guess. But I don't have any idea how fast or slowly it works, but it's got to be better than me creating my own energy source, however the hell I would get around doing that. So some sort of energy battery power of some kind, I think, will be helpful. And back to what Jesse said, at the end of the day, like, there's some of these catastrophes like asteroids and zombies and whatever, where it's just like, either A, it's been a good run, or all the stuff you really need is likely to be guns and bullets and seeds and the knowledge to butcher a wild animal, like that's going to be base a knife, fire, shelter, those sorts of things. It's like, it's not going to matter if you have a Amex Black card with an unlimited. You're like, but this gets me into the Centurion Lounge. Like, great, but do you have a rabbit with you? Because we, or whatever. It's like, we can't give you any gasoline for your travel, sir. But I don't know. I don't know how much of it's. I think more broad based around like the stuff that the folks in LA went through is awful in the sense of their experience. We had a house fire when I was a kid, and it was not like those guys had a lot of time to think about it, but they had a little bit more than we would have. But we were talking about it at home, and it's like, what if there was a dam break and the rivers, like you can't grab the baby pictures fast enough. You know what I mean? Like that's the stuff that we care most about is those things. And to your point, Paula, so much of this stuff is electronic these days. It's like, I don't really care if I lose my phone. I'll just go to the Apple store and get a new one. And as long as iCloud still works, all my stuff's on iCloud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Carrying a bunch of that stuff with you is pretty unimportant, I think, unless it's the zombie apocalypse and, whatever. Otherwise, you can pretty much get to everything.
And then just hide behind Jesse and you're good.
Yeah. I don't have to be the fastest. I just have to run faster than Jesse.
Exactly right.
I have to outrun the bear. I just have to outrun Jesse.
In the second half of this, I want to dive into a couple of your answers more and talk about what things you use for these. I also want to talk about a few of the ones Andrea mentioned that you guys didn't touch on. So we'll do that in just a moment. But at the halfway point of each Friday Stacking Benjamins podcast, we have this year-long trivia competition that we do between our three contributors, Paula, Jesse, and OG. Well, guys, the score is really not as important as the fact of, will Jesse get on the board this year? Will that happen this year? And Paula is just amazed that somebody might be doing worse at trivia than she is. And February, this is our last February episode, and Paula's
it's
not
almost
last.
March, bro.
Well, the year is young.
The year is young, and we started late. So the score right now is OG has 3, Paula has 1. Jesse trying to crack the scoreboard. Will Jesse make it a tie for second? Can Paula challenge OG? That would be interesting at the end of this week. Well, all of these, except for, of course, OG pulling further ahead, which would, we'd need to find some way to manufacture excitement like they did. What was that fight that was the Tyson fight? They're trying
the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight.
Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. Like, let's manufacture, talk about the grid going down.
Yeah, Netflix was buffering. What was up with that?
I know. My buddy had a go bag. It was called a phone with a signal that we could hook up to my TV to make it work. It was amazing. My cable didn't work. And yet the, not cable, but my streaming service didn't work. But my buddy's phone streamed it for us, which was great. All right. Enough of that. Let's dive into, Doug, what is our trivia question today?
Hey there, stackers. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug, and on today's mission to help you prepare, you might be thinking, I need to spend a little money getting all of this together. But don't worry, your pal Doug is here to rescue you yet again. Well, I don't know what the last time was, but I'm sure I've probably saved your bacon in the past, right? Let's get right down to it. When you're hoping to save some money, there's nothing like a co-op. That's where institutions get together and share, creating a kind of best of both worlds. Everyone can focus on what they're best at, and customers get a good price. Companies like REI have even taken the co-op to big commercial heights. The first college co-op store opened at some little college named Harvard in... You thought I was going to tell you what year they opened it. No, I'm not gonna, because that's today's trivia question. In what year did Harvard open the first college co-op store on today's date? I'll be back right after I see if Joe's mom wants to co-op on the laundry.
All right, OG, Harvard, some school somewhere in the Northeast, I think. Not sure. What year did they open their first co-op store?
So it's like an REI? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's like a student union kind of store, where you get all the student stuff. I think most college campuses, Michigan State had a co-op.
Books and computers.
Yeah, you can get your book. You can get your sweatshirts. You can get your...
okay.
Yes. Yeah, the school store.
The school store. Like the
school store run like, usually in most campuses, it's run by a co-op between a local business and the school.
Interesting. There's a lot of stories about Grand Canyon University, and the president, the guy who runs that now, has turned a lot of that stuff into similar things, right? He got a Chick-fil-A franchise, did a bunch of real estate investing, and like involved all the students in the rehab and the running and all that sort of stuff, so they get all this entrepreneurial experience. Maybe a similar thing is what you're talking about. Let's see here. So Harvard was started in like 1905, easily the oldest college around. No, Paula didn't like that one. 1634, I believe. It took them a while. I don't have any.
I wasn't even gonna mention that feint right there until you called yourself out. I was like, wow.
Yeah. Wow, yeah, that's gamesmanship. I have not the foggiest idea. 1880. I don't know. I'm just picking a number. Beats me.
1880. Paula, what are you gonna do with that?
Ooh, I am so unused to guessing second. It's because strategically it's completely different. Normally I've got two guesses and then I just Chelsea Brennan one of the answers.
Duh. It's simple.
As if.
Now he's anchored with 1880, so.
But the school started in the 1600s. And it's presently 2025.
I think the school started in the 1700s.
Okay.
Either way, I don't think the co-op is anywhere near that old. I was actually thinking probably somewhere around the 1900s.
If it's 1905, I'm going to flip a lid. Since I said that already, since I said that number.
There's a big part of me that's just hoping Jesse Cramer's looking it up.
He's like, November 9th, 1741. I don't know, just a wild guess.
So there are a couple of directions I could go with it. So part of me is thinking that it might be mid-1900s, like, after the Great Depression, maybe somewhere after the Great Depression, before World War II. Like, that feels like a good time to open up a school spirit store, doesn't it?
First time there's been a school spirit store?
Rah-rah-ree.
Yeah.
Waving the pennants.
Well, maybe a little before, because, the Roaring maybe that. You know what? I'm going to go with 1911.
1911. All right, Jesse, you got 1880 and 1911. What are you thinking, my friend?
Both good guesses. And if I had a blank slate, I was thinking early 1900s. But this is where just like, I don't know, strategy and game theory come into play. And I think I have to take the under and just hope that the date is somewhere in that wide range of dates. So was 1880. I think I'll go 1879.
1879 to take the fact that Harvard's been around a good long time.
Yeah.
Well, all three of those guesses make sense to me. Well, OG's doesn't because he, I think, just threw a dart. But I certainly know where Paula and Jesse, you guys are coming from. We will see. We'll be right back to see who wins this thing.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You didn't start a business just to keep the lights on. You're here to sell more today than yesterday. You're here to win. Lucky for you, Shopify built the best converting checkout on the planet. Like the just one tapping, ridiculously fast acting, sky-high sales stacking, champion of checkouts. That's the good stuff right there. So if your business is in it to win it, win with Shopify. Start your free trial today at shopify.com/win.
Did you know Fast Growing Trees is America's largest and most trusted online nursery with thousands of trees and plants and over 2 million happy customers? Whether you're planting fruit trees, adding privacy, brightening things up with flowers, or bringing in houseplants, Fast Growing Trees has it all. Even better, they can help you find options that are right for your climate, your space, and lifestyle. Click Order Grow. Every plant arrives healthy with the Alive and Thrive guarantee straight to your door. So if you're ready to get planting, this is the moment. Right now, they have great deals on spring planting essentials, up to half off on select plants. And listeners to our show get 20% off their first purchase when using the code WWO at checkout. That's an additional 20% off. Better plants and better growing at fastgrowingtrees.com using the code WWO at checkout. Fastgrowingtrees.com, code WWO. Now's the perfect time to plant. Let's grow together. Use WWO to save today. Offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions apply. Go to growingfasttrees.com for details.
I feel like I should have said 1801 just to give myself a little bit more room. I knew somebody was going to just do one under.
Well, yeah. I mean, seeing the way that this game usually goes. But do you feel good with 1880?
I don't have the foggiest idea.
Paula, 1911, you're up there by yourself now because Jesse had to choose.
Yeah, I feel good about the fact that I've taken so much of the board. I have I've captured the bulk of the upside.
Well, and Jesse, you've got a lot of the other side, so.
I have. I've actually been in this store as well, which I don't know if the rest of our panel's been in the store before.
Right.
I'm trying to picture, what they chiseled into that block of marble outside. I can't remember.
Not to brag, but I have been in the Harvard store before.
as a tourist, just to be clear, not even as a prospective student.
It's like my grandpa used to have a coffee mug that says I played at the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
And in the middle, in really small writing, it said a harmonica. And so Jesse's got a coffee mug that says I went to Harvard store.
Bookstore.
Right. Yeah, that's like the CrossFit joke, isn't it? How do you know if somebody went to Harvard? They'll tell you, right? Mm-hmm. How do you know if somebody's been to the Harvard bookstore? They'll tell you. Sure. I played Pebble Beach Golf Course before, OG, by the way.
On Xbox?
On my Xbox, yeah. All right, here we go. Doug, who's going to win this thing?
Hey there, Stacker. I'm the guy who's always cooperative and also the guy who likes to share laundry duty, Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug. In a gesture of friendship that's sure to last about 7 minutes here in the basement, Joe's mom has agreed to split laundry duty. It's great. She says if I take it down and load it, she'll check it as it's going to make sure everything's still running okay. Hey, I didn't say it's perfect, but it's a start. Let's put an end to today's co-op trivia question, shall we? Harvard opened the first ever college co-op store on their campus in 1882, making OG our winner.
How? Just how?
It's just painful.
Just how?
Oh, Jesse, when you said, you know what, gamesmanship, I'm like, come on, 1881. Come on, 1881. Squeeze right in there.
Oh, that's fantastic.
1882. Yeah, nice job with the randomness. Well, let's get back to something that where you guys have more expertise. We're going to lean on that. I want to start off with, Paula, with something that you said, talking about your password manager. Can we talk about password managers? Do you guys all use password managers? I know, Paula, you do. Jesse, you use one?
I do. LastPass.
And OG, do you use a password manager?
Yeah, I have a notebook right here. Write them all in there.
Perfect.
It says top secret passwords on the front. Do not copy. So no.
I go password, then password 12, password 12, exclamation point, password 12, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Wait, how did you guess mine?
Paula, which one do you use?
I've used a few. I used to use LastPass. I switched off of that, went to 1Password. We also have a company account with Bitwarden.
Well, let's talk about the ones that you use. Jesse, LastPass, why'd you decide to use LastPass and how do you like it?
Our company uses LastPass, and so everybody gets an account, and we can use that account for personal use as well. So that was the reason why I chose to use it, to be honest with you. It was just because it was free through work.
Yeah, same.
But LastPass has free and paid accounts, so I'm assuming they have a paid account. Like your company's not going, hey, everybody gets this for free, so we're going to call it a perk. We should do that at Stacking Benjamins, OG.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody gets the free.
I assume that our company is paying for a premium version, yes. Yeah. But then as employees, I don't pay for my own seat as an employee of the company. Right.
Paula, why did you leave LastPass?
They had a data breach. In 2022, LastPass had a big security breach, and that inspired me to get off of LastPass. No offense, Jesse. So
none taken.
It turned out they found out what year Harvard had their first college spirit store.
Yeah, so they had a security breach. And so then I went to, that was the year I was in grad school, and I went to a lecture on cybersecurity. And I went up to the lecturer afterwards and I said, hey, have you heard about the LastPass breach? And he was like, yeah, of course. And I was like, what do you recommend? And so he just gave me a list of like various other password managers. And so I asked Suni to just pick one for the team. And so she picked Bitwarden, and that became our company one. And then I needed one for myself. So I went with 1Password just because I wanted to use something different so that we had a variety.
What's the difference then between Bitwarden and the other one you use?
Not much. I mean, I'm sure in the technical specs, there's probably some difference, but from my experience as a user, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, just different user interface.
Yeah, there's no interface difference that you like one word versus the other better?
I mean, not notably.
Yeah,
it doesn't impact my quality of life.
Yeah, I use Dashlane, which I pay for as well, and I like it a lot. I also like the move they made. It used to be app-based, and now even if my app is not working, it's web-based. So I can now just go to a website on any computer, preferably one that's open where everybody can see my password. Joking, but it's much more flexible now. So I don't know what that means data-wise, but it's becoming easier to use all the time. Really, the functionality is pretty good.
There's also Google Password Manager, which I have some redundancy in terms of like some stuff saved in a password manager, some stuff saved in Google Password Manager. And I'm actually trying to wean off of that because if somebody gets access to my email account, that would be horrible enough. And I don't want them to also have access to my passwords. So that is actually one thing that I'm trying to break away from is I'm slowly over time deleting passwords out of Google Password Manager.
I've noticed that through Apple and with Google, the password managers, and I try not to do those too. For all the reasons that you stated, I try not to use those because I'm sure there's got to be people out there going, oh, I just use the Google Password Manager. I use Apple's Password Manager. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, for stuff that I don't care about, I will give it to Apple. So I just put my thumb on the thing. I'm like, really, if somebody steals my online board game registration.
Yeah. I mean, if you want my Wordle account, sure. Right.
Like, oh my God, I'm losing at Wordle every day. This horrible Russian hack is killing my score. It's rotten. OG, have you played with different password managers?
I think that we did some years ago before we settled on the one that we use, which is also LastPass, by the way. I don't know how we picked it or why we picked it or why we stay with it. Somebody somewhere said it's fine, and that's good enough for me.
Some dude in Russia said, this is great.
Yeah. And he was like, before we go any further, your porn name is the street you grew up on and your mother's maiden name. Like, really? It's a weird name.
Wow.
But anyways, with the simplicity of it, and I too am frustrated with the fact that everything is like double, like on your phone when you try to do it, like the native Apple version of it always wants to be the forefront, even though, you're like, no, seriously, LastPass. And then
every single time. No.
I'm just to the point where I just recognize that that's just part of the process. Part of the process has to be, it's going to be a little slower on the non-Google native thing or the non-Apple native thing because they want it to have some friction, so that I go, screw it, let's just use Apple. But for work stuff, it's just so much easier to share passwords with the password manager, and you don't even have to share the password, you share access to the password, so then you can change it or remove the access whenever you need.
The second thing I want to talk about that she mentioned in the go bag is actually stuff like spare sets of keys. So that if you end up leaving a house where it's on fire and keys melt or things happen, that you've got spare sets of keys to different properties that you own. I thought that was a good thing to have in your go bag. But the third thing is a big thing that when we had estate planning experts on our show which is it's not in your go bag per se, but as part of your emergency, somebody else that can get into your online stuff besides you. And you know what's funny? I heard that a long time ago. I still don't have that person. Cheryl knows, and I know, but if something happens to both of us, everything's stored on my phone and nobody knows my access code to my phone outside the two of us. Have you guys dealt with that? Thought about that at all?
I mean,
before, Paula?
Isn't yours just password 12 exclamation?
No, it's it's a number sequence on my phone, right? So it's just 1111, but who's going to guess that?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But I thought that's really important to do. And I would think though, and Paul, I'm going to go back to you, like, as you think about this, how would you think through who that would be? And how would you, if you didn't want to tell them the access to your phone, but you want them to know how to get the access to your phone later, how would you set that up?
If I had an attorney that I was regularly working with, like if I had an estate planning attorney, or if there was any attorney that I was regularly working with and I had a recurring relationship with that person, that's the person I would give it to.
Yeah. Jesse, have you thought about that, or in the firm you work in?
Definitely thought about it. Do I have it set up in my own life? No, I do not. But right, it would probably be someone who's like the executor. You know, that's who I would think of, is someone like the executor of your estate, your trusted attorney, or for some people, it's either a trusted accountant or like a financial planner. Like whoever that trusted outside advisor is in your life could probably be a good candidate for that.
Yeah. Oh, gee, I'm sure clients dealing with this all the time. If anybody of our teams thought about this or is doing it, it might be you.
Well, this is one of the things that I think is really overlooked in an estate planning process overall, which is how do other people get access to the two-factor authentication thing? Like Paula, you were talking about, if you get hit by a bus, how are you going to get your phone to open when your face is buried, 6 feet under the dirt? I'm not, I mean, for real, right?
I thought you were going to say under the tires.
Also,
under the tires.
It's got a tire track over it and it's like, doesn't recognize.
Yeah.
The other thing I can think of is to like literally have somebody else's Face ID work for your phone. And that just assumes that device is also still good, right? If you're in an accident and the device is destroyed or something like that, then what? Now you have to go get a new device, but how are you going to log? There's a lot of layers to that. I think generally speaking, the two-factor authentication stuff you can bypass, not easily, but you can call Schwab and say, I don't have that device anymore. Grandpa died. What can we do to like access this and kind of proceed with the estate plan type of thing? They have protocols for it. But to your point, Paul, about the master password, like that needs to be somewhere so that somebody, whether it's with your attorney, written in code in your estate plan, like every 15th letter of my trust is my master password. I don't know. It's not, but
that would be cool.
Yeah, it's a puzzle.
Yeah, exactly. To have a cipher.
Like, that's how Joe's going to do it, like a game. It's like a limerick. Like it's a riddle you have to solve to get the password.
We were talking about smoking jackets on Wednesday's show, OG. I'll be in a smoking jacket in a study with a pipe. Yeah. And if you're watching this VHS tape, A, you found a VHS player, and B, I'm dead.
Yeah, exactly.
So here's right. I like what Aaron said. And for people on YouTube, I just posted it for just a second. Aaron says, hanging out with us live, Joe, you trust all of us stackers. Why not post your phone password here in YouTube so we can all be there for you when you need us? Aaron's a giver. So nice. Our stacker community, just willing to help. Anything that's a mistake that you see people most be oftenly have in their go bag? Like, is there some mistake? Jesse, you think playing him for just about anything, it sounds like it's a mistake.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
he wishes he prepared for a blizzard.
A shovel? Should I have a shovel in my financial to go bag? No, I mean, most be oftenly, I would suppose it's just that people are underprepared. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, all you need to do is see the grocery store shelves at the slightest hint. Like, all you stackers, you can think of like what happened in COVID, like what the grocery stores looked like in COVID. Now, for us here in Rochester,
somebody, Jesse, was going to poop a lot during COVID.
That was the funniest New York Times cartoon. I think it was the New York Times where it was like post-apocalyptic COVID and aliens were coming down. And I think we've talked about this, but the aliens were like surveying all the dead COVID bodies. And they're like, we don't get it. Their asses are immaculate. They're all dead, but their asses are immaculate.
Yeah.
On that note, I mean, related to it, no, most oftenly, I would say people are just underprepared. So if someone takes what we talked about today and they kind of go to the other end of the spectrum and kind of dial it up too much, I don't know. I think there are worse things you could be doing with your time.
I think that might be the point here, Paula, is that just talking about this like a fire drill ahead of time is probably worth the squeeze.
Yeah. It's always the low probability, high magnitude events that you want to keep on the radar.
Spend just a few moments on. And OG, I know you call this a fire drill in your practice, right? Isn't it a fire drill, or you call it something like that?
Well, lifeboat drills, it's more about the market going down.
Lifeboat drill.
But I was thinking about it like a fire drill. It just popped in my head that I bet the vast majority of people listening haven't actually done a fire drill in their home. And what I mean by that is put your kids in their bed, blindfold them, and tell them to crawl out of the house. The house is on fire. You have to get out. And just watch how it goes, because that's what it would be like. And it's something simple. We're talking about, oh my gosh, what if the zombies come? But like, if your house is on fire, where's the family meet? Like, where is the meeting spot? And how are we going to know that everybody's out? You know what I mean? Like, something much more likely to happen, albeit still rare, but much more likely to happen, something like that, or some sort of weather event, a tornado at the school. Like, what's the process for you to know that your kids are good, or for your kids to know that you're good? Like, just some sort of communication protocol with obviously different ages, but you get the idea.
I love this idea of the go bag. We'll link to it on our show notes at stackingbenjamins.com. And I think that's going to wrap up this exciting Friday. Let's find out what all of you are doing. Here this last week of February where you work. Paula, what's happening at the Afford Anything show?
On the Afford Anything show, of course, every Tuesday, you join us, Joe, for some great discussion, for some answering questions. We also have an episode, an interview with Scott Yamamura, in which this one is dedicated to beginners. So if you are an absolute beginner and you want the basics, that episode airs at the end of February. We also did an interview with Sahil Bloom. He writes about the 5 types of wealth. He's got 1 million readers to his newsletter.
And that's not hyperbole.
Yeah. He has literally 1 million subscribers to his newsletter. So he's a very, very well-known writer. Worked in private equity, made a lot of money at a very young age, and then walked away from it all so that he could be closer to his parents and spend more time with his 2-year-old son. So he writes about an expanded definition of wealth. And so he joins us to talk about that.
That's all on the Afford Anything podcast, where finer podcasts are, but finer podcasts like Jesse Cramer's new podcast, which is Personal Finance for Long-Term Investors.
That's right.
I got it right. That's incredible.
That's a first, Joe. That's a first.
Jesse, what's happening at PFFLT?
Exactly. We'll work on the acronym. That's okay. We'll figure something out. What's going on? We recently had Chad Carson on the show to talk about, being the small but mighty real estate investor. Residential real estate investing, something I don't spend a ton of time talking about. So it was good to hear from Chad. I know Paul has been on the podcast before to talk about that topic. So always good to get a voice in there. And then the next episode coming out soon, is going to be a deep dive on national debt. I feel like national debt is something that everybody understands to be this kind of sort of looming problem. But then we keep on going further into debt, and we invest in debt through U.S. bonds. So anyway, it was really interesting to put this episode together. Still not quite done yet, but by the time people are listening to this, it'll be coming out soon.
And OG, last day of February, how are you celebrating heading into March?
70 and sunny this week in the DFW area. So the bike tires are getting pumped up. We're going to go on a nice long bike ride this weekend. Couple long zone 2 rides. Get that cardio going. Got to get that beach body ready.
I thought you were going to say you're sending the kids on a long bike ride.
I said me on a long bike ride.
70 is sunny. I'm sending the kids. Tighten.
Beach body, baby.
That's good.
Speedo don't wear itself.
Well, like we said earlier in the week, pitchers and catchers already reported, and we didn't get the call. I can't believe they didn't call for us. So a little disappointing. Anyway, thanks everybody for hanging out with us on YouTube. If you want to hang out with us on YouTube, join our Facebook group, The Basement, stackingbenjamins.com/basement. Get you the link, and we will tell you, like on a day like today, we'll tell you maybe 45 minutes before we go live. We barely gave anybody any warning. And yet, thank you. We had Dividend Gypsy, we had Aaron, we had Rocky hanging out with us, and a few others. Thanks so much for hanging out and making the show with us and being a part of it. That's going to do it for today. Doug, you've got it from here, man. What should we have learned today?
Well, Joe, here's what's stacked up on our to-do list for today. First, take some advice from Paula. Remember when she was saying all that incredible stuff, it was like super smart. She used all those really big words with all the syllables that we had to look up while she was talking, and then we couldn't really hear and understand what she was saying because we were too busy looking up all the big $12 words she's using. Yeah, Paula, we missed it. Can you say it again?
You can make melons out of melonade.
Oh, and then Jesse. Man, did Jesse just knock it out of the park today. Jesse, hit another home run for us, man.
We all got to go somehow, so why don't you just run toward the zombies?
But the big lesson? Joe's mom is such a giver in this cooperative laundry thing. She told me she'll even let me dry the clothes for both of us, and she's going to check on them later just to make sure like the machine's not smoking. But don't worry, when that's done, I still get to fold them and hang them up. Again, not perfect, but it's a start. Thanks to Jesse Cramer for joining us today. You'll find Jesse's fine work at Personal Finance for people who listen to podcasts about money or something like that. I don't know, whatever the name of his show is now. I can't keep up with it. We're also going to include links in our show notes at stackingbenjamins.com. Don't worry. Thanks also to Paula Pant for hanging out with us today. You'll find her fabulous and succinctly named podcast, Afford Anything, wherever you listen to succinctly named podcasts. Jesse, take some notes. Thanks also to OG for joining us today. Looking for some really, really good financial planning help? Head to stackingbenjamins.com/OG for his calendar. This show is the property of SB Podcasts, LLC, copyright 2025, and is created by Joe Saul-Sehy. Joe gets help from a few of our neighborhood friends. You'll find out about our awesome team at stackingbenjamins.com, along with the show notes and how you can find us on YouTube and all the usual social media spots. Come say hello. Oh yeah, and before I go, not only should you not take advice from these nerds, don't take advice from people you don't know. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Before making any financial decisions, speak with a real financial advisor. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug, and we'll see you next time back here at the Stacking Benjamins Show.